Hello everybody, we are back here on the Coaches Corner of the show where we like to talk about Roadrunner sports with coaches and players from the MSU Denver squads. We're live here at the Tivoli Tap House, the campus brewery where they provide fine beers, atmosphere, and great food as well. So come on by after class or after work to watch big games. And as always, I'm Celeste Zubia along with my co-host Sean. Sean, how are you doing tonight?
Doing excellent, Celeste.
Good, good. So what's on tap for the show tonight?
Well, I mean, beyond seeing our beautiful faces, we get some coaches here on the show. We're going to have head coach Annie Van Wetzinga from the softball team. They were on the road, Shadron this weekend. We'll get her thoughts on it. Then we're going to have head track and field coach Janis Christopher. Her team, good run as of late. We'll get her thoughts on her squad and where they're headed. And then we'll have breakout star from that softball team, Annika Anderson. Yeah,
and I'm so excited. It's going to be a good show. But before we bring in our guests, let's just tell the audience what happened over the weekend in MSU Denver sports. So let's start with some outdoor track and field as the squad took part in the Colorado University Invitational on Saturday. Sophomore Julian Delaney continues to have a great outdoor season. He placed second in the 100 meters while also placing third in the 200-meter dash. Find more results from the meet at roadrunnersathletics.com.
And the baseball team played at home this past weekend. They took on UC Colorado Springs and Regis in pod play in Game 2 versus UCCS. Sophomore hurler Javi Vega was incredible and also had a little help from his defense. Here he gets a line drive to Trent Maloney, who fires it over to second base to get the double play. And here's the grounder to Jake Thurston, who makes a fantastic play from short to keep UCCS off the base paths. Roadrunners take this game 4-2 and would take 2 home wins on this weekend.
And the softball team hit the road to Shadron, Nebraska to take on the Eagles from Shadron State, and they split the 4-game series. The Roadrunners finished the series with a 10-0 run rule victory on Sunday. Freshman Darby McGee won her 8th game on the season after pitching 6 innings of scoreless softball to go along with 5 strikeouts. And we finished with a little tennis led by head coach Danielle Hangstifer. The women's team took down both Colorado Mesa and CSU Pueblo this past weekend. Against Mesa, the team fell behind 2-1 in double play, but they ramped it up for singles play as they swept all 6 single matches to take the 7-2 win over the Mavericks. The men split their weekend matches, falling to Mesa but rebounding to defeat the Thunderwolves. So now we say hello to our head coach of the softball team, Coach Annie Van Wetzinga. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Doing excellent. I foregoed the Cubs attire just for you this evening.
Appreciate it, and you look so much better tonight.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we mentioned that you went up to Nebraska this past weekend, and before we get into that series, we kind of want to talk to you about the situation that happened down in New Mexico. As you know, the program just lost their catcher, who was just playing on your home field.
Yeah.
You know, 2 weeks ago, Danielle Cordova, and we know that sadly she passed away in a bad car accident. So in situations like these, how do you feel as a head coach, you know, to kind of talk to your team about it and to know that, you know, in any minute something like that can happen?
Yeah, I know. We did talk about it briefly. I mean, first of all, like, I couldn't imagine. I've had to deal with a lot of different things as a coach, you know, different issues come up with the team, but that's certainly, like, probably as a coach, the biggest kind of nightmare you could have to deal with. So I couldn't imagine having to deal with that as a coach, and how hard that must be for Karen and the rest of that team. But we did kind of talk about it as a team, and kind of talked. We've had individuals actually this year on our team go through some really tough things also, and so kind of talked about it, like, you know, everybody says you want to, what can you do, or, you know, feel bad. And my message was, the biggest thing you can do is, you know, kind of attack each day and be thankful for it. You know, maybe it kind of puts your problems, so to speak, into perspective a little bit.
Yeah.
And be grateful for your opportunities. Don't take things for granted. You know, just kind of attack each day with, you know, enthusiasm and good energy.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we want to send our heartfelt sympathies to Danielle, her family, her teammates, her coaches, and everyone in the RMAC softball world. So let's get into some discussion about this weekend. You guys were in Chadron,
Yep.
and I think we all kind of did a double take at that scoreline, 11-0. I mean, it's not really something that we see from your team all that often. What happened in that game? What did you see from them? Was it just an off game? Were they just not ready to play?
I think Chadron definitely came out swinging, and and I told the team, and I told other people that asked, going to Chadron isn't easy. It's always windy there, and they have really short fences, so it doesn't actually take a whole lot. Usually hit the ball out of there, and their team's kind of built for that. They had a lot of bigger girls with big swings, and unfortunately we just didn't get the performance that we kind of needed. And like I said, they jumped out early, and honestly, hats off to Shatter, and they really used that momentum and that energy, and they rolled with it. And sometimes when things like that get rolling, you can't really push the stop button. So when it was over, we just kind of talked about, you kind of have two choices, and you can just kind of let this affect you, or we still have a lot of weekend left, and kind of your choice how you want to attack the rest of the games.
So Chadron's Jessica Drecke pitched well in that game, and she pitched well in both of the games she took against you guys. So what did she do to kind of give your team fits?
She's a freshman. She does a nice job. She's got kind of just enough velocity to be different. So she's got decent speed, and she just does a really nice job of moving the ball in and out. I think the biggest thing is consistency. She's not going to give you a ton over the middle plate. And Regis is number one, and is kind of the same way. Logan Losh, we struggled with her. Good velocity and just a really consistent quality pitcher who has good control. And honestly, that's the biggest thing we even tell our pitchers, like, hit your spots, make the hitters hit your pitches. And so, Drecke did a really good job at controlling the strike zone, and I wish as hitters we would have done a better job of being able to attack earlier in the count. We kind of watched a lot of pitches go by. Second day we were better. So we left kind of a lot of people on base the second day, so it was more about the key hit.
Yeah.
So you mentioned rebounding for the weekend after that tough first game. You guys had 12 hits in that second game as opposed to 3 in the first ones. You kind of mentioned what you said a little bit to the team in between. Was there anything else said, and what did they kind of show you in that game as far as their resiliency goes, and what does that tell you about your softball squad?
Yeah, like I said, I said what I said between the games, and I always let them kind of talk to each other, and at the end of the day, I can say anything I want. It's going to be up to them what they choose to do or how they want to perform. We kind of used it. I think the first day we came back and we just did enough to win the second game. I think the second game on Sunday, they kind of came back angry. It was a tough loss. Anytime you lose on a walk-off, that's really hard. And we had some tough calls go against us. One that cost us a run in the first 7 innings. And so, I think they were angry, and they did a good job of coming back out like firing and yeah, maybe sending a message a little bit at the end and taking care of business at that last game.
So you kind of talked about how this weekend you guys will be celebrating your seniors. So you have, Brooke Lovas, Kalissa Bakovich, Smith, Nelson, Haley Fields, and Terry will be graduating early as well. So you guys will also be honoring her. So, but there's still a lot of time or a lot of games left to play in the season. So how do you kind of keep the seniors, focused to play, the RMAC tournament, NCAA tournament, and all those games? Yeah, I mean, it is tough, especially we've had this, I think, like about a third year in a row now where it seems like we had senior day pretty early. That's something I tell the seniors. I go, this is your day, and definitely want to honor you. But don't forget that this isn't the end. We have a lot of games left. And so we're definitely going to, recognize you guys today and play hard, but we got a lot of ball left, so don't get sad yet. So that's usually the message I send. And they're a really focused group. They've accomplished a lot, so I don't really worry too much with them about letting it affect them too much.
So later on in the show, we'll have your starting right fielder, junior Annika Anderson. And you told Eric over here that, when she came in, she kind of had to wait in the wings while your seniors who were producing ahead of her got their reps in, got their final season in, and then she was able to step in, really break out this year. Was it the playing time that really helped her break out this year, or was something else different? Has something else changed with her play?
Yeah, so her freshman year, we had a lot of talented seniors that that year. And so, yeah, she definitely had to wait her turn. Then last year she played a lot, and honestly, it was kind of a struggle at first, both defensively and offensively. But then at the end, it definitely clicked. She ended up leading us in home runs, and you could tell she was just kind of settling in, kind of like what I talked about with Darby. It's like maybe you can see her kind of settling in now. And this year, like didn't want to talk about it too much, but I'm like, she could blow up. This could be her year. And I think there's a couple different reasons. Annika she works really hard at practice, and that's paying off for her. She's really bought into the program and our culture.
Well, Coach, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on the show, and we wish you guys the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
And don't forget that you can come out and check out Coach Annie Van Wetzinga and her squad play this weekend at the Regency Athletic Complex, and we'll be right back with the Coach's Corner.
Celebration is on for Mike Dunlap.
The Skyhawks celebrate a second national title in program history.
And the winner of the 2006 Harlan Hill Trophy as Division II College Football Player of the Year is Danny Woodhead from Chadron State. ASU! ASU! ASU!
What do we got?
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Diana DeGette. Every day, I see the impact that MSU Denver has on our region, and education within reach can truly transform a life. Congratulations on 50 years of commitment to diversity and inclusion, and may you have many, many more.
Are you a college student that needs a place to live? Are you still living with your parents and want your own space? The Regency Student Housing is perfect for you. The community offers many amenities such as a fitness center, 2 basketball courts, big screen amphitheater, all-you-can-eat dining hall, bowling alley, arcade, free parking, and a shuttle to and from the Auraria campus. For more information, please call 303-477-1950 or visit our website at regencystudenthousing.com.
I'm Lexi Marr, senior defender for the Roadrunners women's soccer team.
These teams looking for offense, and there's Marr, the all-conference defender.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Thanks for coming back with us here on the Coach's Corner. Before we get things started with the outdoor track and field head coach Janis Christopher, we just need to give you guys a quick promotion here at the Tivoli Tap House. We have to tell you about the MSU Denver Mug Club featured by the Tivoli Tap House. It's a great way to contribute to scholarships for the Roadrunner student athletes and to the Alumni Association. As a member, you'll receive an MSU Denver/Tivoli mug featuring the Roadrunners logo, and you'll get $1 off any Tivoli Brewing Company beer, $2 off any Tivoli Brewing Company beer during an MSU Denver sponsored event and happy hour. So it's a fantastic event, and you can sign up for this awesome club at TivoliBrewingCo.com. And Coach, thanks so much for being with us on the show once again.
Thank you.
And if you can just tell us a little bit about your guest who's joining you on the show today.
This is my son, Jaden. He's my youngest son. He's 11 years old.
Nice. Nice to have you on the show, Jaden.
Maybe a future MSU Denver track star.
Oh, maybe.
So your team has competed in 2 events the last 2 weeks, and first we'll ask you about the CSU Pueblo Open in Pueblo on April 2nd. One of the things we noticed was you have a high jumper, so there hasn't been a lot of high jumpers in the history of the program as far as we can tell. You know, women's basketball forward Bree Wellington actually doing the high jump. So what is involved in that event, and how did you ever convince women's coach Tanya Have to allow Bree to do this?
Tanya actually came to us last year when she recruited Bree. She said, I have this girl that I'm bringing onto the team, and she's really interested in doing track, and would you guys be interested in having her on the team? And of course we said yes.
Awesome.
All right, so we have to ask you about your steeplechase event. For people who aren't really that familiar, at part of the track there's a big hurdle with a pool on the other side of the hurdle. Now, is that to keep the runners cool, or is that some sort of athletic prowess we're not really catching up on with the pool being on the other side of the hurdle?
So the steeplechase event is actually like the closest thing to like some of the first cross-country races where they actually, had to jump over things and across streams and so forth. And so they turned it into a track event. So it really is supposed to model sort of what the original event was like. So yeah, they do. They actually hurdle. There are 4 barriers, and one of them is the water barrier. Most of them they actually hurdle on the water barrier, they step on top and they try and actually jump over it. But most of them do get a little bit wet.
So you had a couple guys do really well in the 400-meter dash. Saeed Moreno finished 3rd in the race while Ryan Boucher finished 4th. And Boucher is usually a long-distance runner but looked fantastic out there, and it looked like you were really proud of him after that race.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Ryan actually started out in high school running the 200 and 400 meters, and I believe he still holds the state record for 3A in those 2 events. And so when he came here, Nick Moss talked him into turning into a middle distance runner. But this year I just decided to sort of take him back a little bit to those roots and increase his speed, and so running the 400 open was a good way to do that.
All right, so your team competing in Pueblo ran the 4x100 meter relay. They finished 7th in that, 4th in the CU Invitational. How do you decide who runs the relay? Is it the same 4 all year, and how do you decide who runs 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th?
Okay, so 3 of the 4 are, we just know they're sort of our fastest guys. That 4th spot we've sort of been rotating in some different guys. This week when we run in California, we're actually going to run Saeed Moreno in that 3rd leg. So we'll see how he does. Generally, your person that starts the race is going to be your person that's the best out of the starting blocks. He's going to get out very, very quickly, and he runs a good bend, a good turn. And then the second guy is with Robert. He's just so tall, and so we like to keep him on a straightaway. Just his long legs, that stride works very well on a straightaway. The 3rd runner is always going to be a good turn runner, and then the 4th runner is usually your fastest guy, and of course that's Julian Delaney for us.
So you have a lot going on this weekend for your team. The annual Mount Sac Relays takes place on Thursday through Saturday, and you also have a meet in California with another meet taking place this Saturday in Fort Collins. So do you guys have like a portal machine, or does the team like split up? Like, how are you guys going to be able to do all this week?
So we actually are, and we're actually taking 14 people to California. We will run in the Azusa Pacific meet on Friday, Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday. Well, actually, there's another meet on Friday at Mount Sac. Brandon Crage will do that, and then we'll go and we'll compete at Long Beach, which is only about an hour from Azusa. So we just split up the vans, and we take, this coach has to go to these couple meets, and these coaches stay here and work with these runners. And then actually, because we're driving to California, so we had to take all of our coaching staff, and we're actually going to not compete in the Colorado State meet.
Oh, okay.
Because that would require a portal.
Yeah. And we haven't quite gotten a portal here at MSU Denver.
Not quite yet.
So talk about those Mount Sac relays. It seems to be an event that your team competes in every year, and it always seems like they have a lot of fun, make a lot of great memories with it.
Yeah, it's a very historic meet, and generally the distance events are sort of the big part of that. So we entered, I entered several people, but you have to run very fast to get into the meet. So the only one of our guys that was actually accepted into the meet was Brandon, we call him Crage. And so he'll run the 1500 that day. It draws people from all around the country. You get into, he'll be running with a lot of some of the top Division I athletes and some of the top Division II athletes. So the most fun thing that they do, though, is watch some of our premier elite athletes of the United States will compete in that meet. So it's almost, it's like fun track people watching.
Well, Coach, great luck in all of your meets this weekend. We wish you guys the best, and thank you so much for bringing your son to the show today. It's always nice to have a guest.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So we are not done here quite yet, as we will bring in superstar from the softball team, Annika Anderson, as she talks to us about her breakout season. You won't want to miss it.
Dobinson stops on a dime, now to Cortez. The Cortez beating, and count the bucket, and foul.
If you can't get enough of MSU Denver sports, then you need to tune in to the Road Runner Review. Get into the game with exclusive highlights, interviews, player stories, and of course the top plays that will have you jumping out of your seat. You can catch all the action on Comcast CET and at roadrunnersathletics.com.
Hey, nice job! Great spot!
I'm Joe Rice. I'm the Director of Government Relations for Lockheed Martin Space Systems. I transferred into MSU Denver while I was in the Colorado National Guard and after I completed my associate's degree. This was the only university where somebody actually sat down with me and helped me plan out my academic path to finish my degree and graduate on time. Reach for the stars, come to MSU Denver, launch your career.
Brought to you by your #1 volume Nissan dealer, Tynan's Nissan. Come in today and choose from nearly 1,200 new Nissans. Get 0% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days. During the Bottom Line event, lease the new Altima for only $149 per month. Gives you both efficiency and performance. Looking for an SUV? Then choose the all-wheel drive Rogue at just $159 per month. Also available with optional third-row seats. Bottom Line savings at Tynan's Nissan in Aurora and Fort Collins.
I'm Raquel Torres, senior guard for the women's basketball team.
Winners, and there's Torres, three-point shot up and
Oh,
good.
there it goes.
Raquel Torres, the trifecta.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Andre Harris, senior center for the Roadrunners men's basketball team.
Here's Andre Harris with the jam, bobbing and weaving through traffic.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
We are back here at the Tivoli Tap House, and we need you guys to represent the Roadrunners wherever you go. And what you need to do, you need to shop at MSUdenver.com for games wearing T-shirts, hoodies, polos, hats, backpacks, and so much more at MSUdenver.com. We now introduce you to junior right fielder Annika Anderson to the show. Hello, Annika. Thanks so much for coming to the show. How are you today?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Good, good.
Awesome.
So when Coach told you that you were going to be on TV today, what were you thinking? Were you just so excited to be one of us today?
I was honestly a little nervous, and then I talked to some of the girls, and they said it's an awesome experience, so I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad you're with us today. So your team ventured to Chadron, Nebraska for a 4-game set. Is there any better city than Chadron to visit on these RMAC road trips?
There's a lot better cities than Chadron, to be honest. My sister's actually playing there next year, so
okay, cool.
I got to get used to going there after I graduate.
All right, so your team suffered a tough loss to those Eagles. I mean, we all were kind of checking the score, had to do a little double take at our phones, like,
oh, yeah.
Is this real life? So when you guys walked off the field for that game, did Coach even have to say anything to you guys to get you pumped up, or were you guys just ready to roll after suffering that defeat?
I think we all kind of just took it in our own, like we knew what she was going to say, and it was a tough loss. We didn't see it coming. They're a pretty good hitting team, so we knew we just need to bounce back, and I mean, Cass is down, so our pitchers really need to be in the zone at this time of the year, and I think our captains did a really good job of just coming all together and telling us, like, hey, you can't dwell on it, like, get this one, and we knew we could, so we did.
So their first pitcher on both days seemed to pitch well against your squad, and just 3 hits against her in game 1. So as a hitter who saw her for both games, what was she doing so well against you?
The one thing for me is I generally like inside pitches, and she threw all out and low, which is something I struggle with. So I think after our first time around, we all started to pick up on that, scoot up on the plate, and really look to drive her outside pitches. She also did have good speed, and so we just need to adjust to that quicker.
So this year you've had a breakout season. You lead the RMAC in just about, it seems, every hitting category. You're right up there, average, doubles, hits, runs. What's changed for you? What's been different? I mean, is the game just slowing down? Are you seeing the ball better? I mean, what's really changed for your game that has those RMAC pitchers really dreading when you come up to the plate?
I think the biggest thing for me is just take one pitch at a time. I know freshman year I was kind of nervous and hesitant in the box a lot, and I really just got that confidence and know that I can do it. So just when I go in the box, the only thing I'm thinking is stay relaxed and see the ball.
So earlier in the show, Coach was telling us how you didn't get, a lot of playing time your freshman year, and there's just a lot of seniors, above you. So during your freshman year, did you really take that into consideration, just learning from them and just working that much harder in practice?
Yeah, definitely. The seniors helped a lot. It was different too because I had always played infield, and I made the transition from second base to first base to outfield, which I've never played before, which was a cool experience, and adjusting to that was kind of hard at first, but with the help of Susie and Chelsea and BT, they all helped me I see their work potential on the field, which encouraged me to work as hard as I can, even though it isn't my primary position, which now it is, and I'm glad I'm out and right.
So during this breakout season that you've had, you had a 17-game hit streak from February 26th to March 21st, almost a month of softball. What was going through your mind during that streak? Were you stepping onto the field hoping to keep it going, or was that something that you weren't even concerned with?
Honestly, for the first 10 games, I didn't even know I had a hitting streak until my mom told me, and I saw it on Twitter, and then we had just been doing so well as a team, I didn't even think about it. After the games would be over, it'd be like 12-game hitting streak, and which is so awesome to hear, but it's also good to know I can do that for my team and produce those runs and hits that we need.
So you're local from Loveland, Colorado, so what kind of made you want to come play here at MSU Denver?
I love the downtown life area. I remember seeing the villas and Cass and Sis. I played with them in high school, and I thought it'd be a cool experience to know some people that were on the team. And then I found out Harley was going to be my roommate, and I just heard such good things, like you guys are going to get along great, and it made me excited to come here, especially with our new field. Like, you can't get better than that. So.
Awesome.
All right, so on your bio at roadrunnersathletics.com, it says you're undecided for your major, but we hear it's actually business management now. What made you finally make that decision to go into business management?
My dad is in the business sales for like Northern America, stuff like that, and he's been super successful, so that drives me to do kind of what he wants to do. Not necessarily like marketing, but like maybe promoting, advertising, stuff like that. I was talking to Eric Lansing, like videos, stuff like that is what I'm really into, so we'll see where that takes me.
So maybe we can get you on the show sometime hosting, maybe some broadcasting stuff here?
Yeah.
Well, great, because later on in the show...
I finally have a new co-host.
When we,
Just kidding.
So when we do our upcoming schedule, we have a little segment, and if you want, you can read the upcoming schedule for your volleyball team here at the end of the show. Put those broadcasting skills to the test.
Okay, I can do that.
Perfect.
Well, Annika, we had a blast hanging with you tonight. So glad that you're able to come out on the show with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
So before we get out of here, we're just going to let you guys know what's to come here in MSU Denver Sports. So the golf team is currently in action in the Mustang Intercollegiate in Goodyear, Arizona. They finished day 1 on Monday and will finish things off on day 2 on Tuesday. The monthly Roadrunner Luncheon will take place this Tuesday at noon and will be held at the Regency Athletic Complex. So come out and hang out with the coaches that are in season as they tell you how things are going with their squads.
Head coach Jared Otis and his team will be home again this weekend, but will take Division I Northern Colorado in non-conference action. They'll take on the Tigers in Greeley on Friday and then welcome in the Golden Bears on Saturday to the Regency Athletic Complex for a doubleheader. Now let's see some of those broadcasting skills from Miss Anderson as she brings you her softball team's upcoming schedule.
Thanks, Sean. The softball team and I will take on Black Hills State this weekend at the RAC, and those games will take place on Friday and Saturday. Both games will kick off at noon, so come out to see us in person as we have our sights set on bringing home the RMAX regular season championship. If you can't, you can watch all the action on Stretch Internet at roadrunnerathletics.com.
Not bad, Annika, not bad. Now I have to worry about you taking my job. But as we mentioned that our outdoor track and field team will be in action this weekend. Some of them will head to Cerritos, California for the Mount Sac Relays. A few others will head to California for the Pacific Brian Clay Invite, while the rest will remain in Colorado for the Colorado State University Jack Christensen Invite in Fort Collins, which Coach told us that they will not be participating in this week.
And finally, that tennis team will finish up their regular seasons this weekend. First, they'll take on Colorado Christian this Thursday at the Regency Athletic Complex at 3 p.m. The women will also take on Southern Utah at home on Friday, 2 p.m., while both teams will finish things up against Colorado College Saturday, set at 10 a.m.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Coaches Corner. We want to thank coaches so much. Coach Janis Christopher, I'm stumbling on my words, Annie Van Wetzinga, and of course Annika Anderson for coming out and helping us out. I'm Celeste Zubia, and for Tafoya and our fearless leader Eric Lansing. We will see you guys next Monday.